Welcome back to Never Did It. This is our season 3 Oscar special episode. I am Jake Ziegler, and I'm here with Brad Garoon. We're going to talk about female directors and how they've been overlooked by the Academy forever. So we're going to try to correct some of those occurrences, and we're going to take a look back. We're going to start in 2011, and we're going to look back and see if the category of Best Director was all females, or if they had separated for some reason, the way they do with acting, if there was a Best Female Director category, whatever you want to call it. We're going to see if we can construct a category of legitimate, plausible cases for Best Director. Now, the way I started putting this list together was I looked back at Gold Derby, is a popular Oscar prediction website. They gather predictions from experts, from users. So it's kind of an aggregate of all of people's predictions. Pretty cool thing. And every year they'll list the odds, basically people getting nominated. 2011 was as far back as that went, so I decided to start looking at that and seeing how many female directors were even close to consideration for an actual Oscar nomination that year. And then beyond that, we looked at a couple of different sources. I checked the ATOGT, and the Oscar Goes To, and the person who runs that website does an amazing job with Academy history stuff. He's got the lists of all the eligible films from every year, and he actually in a lot of cases has the original documents that you can see it from, which is pretty neat. So I checked that website to see what movies were eligible that year. We looked at Wikipedia. There's a Letterboxd list that I know we pulled some from just to see what the big movies were that year that were directed by women, see if we could make a category out of these.
This was really well received when we did it for our animated movies. The way we did it then was we just took the animated Oscar and looked at what would happen if it existed 10 years earlier and did those 10 years. Obviously, Jake has very graciously put his time into make something that's a little more convoluted, but I think this is very cool. I've seen what these movies are. I've never heard of a lot of them. Just goes to show you how underrepresented women directors have been, and we're only going back to 2011.
It's worse before. It's even worse before that.
I'm sure. My question is, you say Oscar eligibility, and the OscarGoes2.com tells you that. Why is a movie? I'm just going to pull one from our list because we added a few that weren't Oscar eligible just so we could hit for each year director if only women directors existed. Why is a movie like Amy Heckerling's Vamps? Why would that not be eligible?
Probably just wasn't submitted because you have to submit your credits and whatever else to the Academy to actually make it into the final list of submissions, and I think a lot of movies just don't. I mean, look at what happened with Ne Zha 2. That happened just this year, where they didn't submit for animated film or any other consideration just because. So I think honestly that's all it is when these movies are just so small and so independent, which is crazy because I've seen some movies on the list where it's why would you even bother submitting this for anything, and there's stuff that I've never heard of. I think that's honestly the reason is people with these movies, they just don't bother. It's not the trouble, I guess, to submit for consideration.
All right, well, our goal is to keep this under an hour. So let's get right into it.
Cool. So in 2011, we did find two that were technically not eligible. Those would be Julia Lee's Sleeping Beauty and Celine Sciamma directed a film called Tomboy. There's Catherine Hardwicke's Red Riding Hood. Dee Reese, who would go on to direct Mudbound, we'll mention her again later, had her debut film was Pariah. That year, Lone Scherfig, the director of An Education, had a movie called One Day. Angelina Jolie directed In the Land of Blood and Honey. There's a Polish film, I cannot pronounce this first name, Agnieszka Holland, did a film called In Darkness. Vera Farmiga, which I forgot about this movie, but she directed a film that year called Higher Ground. And Phyllida Lloyd did The Iron Lady. And Lynn Ramsey, we need to talk about Kevin, was this year as well. Now, of those 10, there were only 2 of them that were actually ranked in the Gold Derby list of kind of potential nominees, and that was Lynn Ramsey and Phyllida Lloyd. So those are the only 2 that were really even on the Oscar radar at all.
So I feel 2 ways about this. Seems pretty clear that as far as Oscar movies go, quote unquote, The Iron Lady, a movie I do not like, would have, movies that are not going to get nominated for Oscars all the time. Feels like that would have taken it, mostly because We Need to Talk About Kevin is just brutal. And I can't think, did House and Sand and Fog do really well at the Oscars?
I know Kingsley was nominated and Sheree Agdashlu was nominated for supporting actress, but I think that's it.
Okay, well, that's better than nothing. I mean, if a movie like that can get nominated, then probably a movie like We Need to Talk About Kevin could get nominated. So it does seem like the Gold Derby got it right. I will say that if you were to zap a movie from the past to the present, Celine Sciamma, director of Portrait of a Lady on Fire, a movie by someone who's well loved, and Portrait of a Lady on Fire, I believe, did it win Best International Movie? It was at least nominated, no?
It wasn't even submitted that year.
Oh, crazy. How did it get so popular?
Gosh, that's a great question. How did that happen? Because, yeah, it was all over the place, and people are like, why wasn't it submitted? Well, let's see.
I mean, that happens. This year, Jafar Panahi's It Was Just an Accident is submitted, and there's other French movies I know that are supposed to be very good this year.
Right. Or what was, what was that other one? Well, Anatomy of a Fall was submitted instead of...
Was it Taste of Things?
Yeah, Taste of Things was eligible. It didn't get nominated.
Yeah, was that the one that Anatomy of a Fall took?
Yes, because Taste of Things was submitted instead of Anatomy of a Fall from France, yeah.
Right, and then Anatomy of a Fall got into Best Picture instead.
Yes. Oh, there was a version of Les Miserables that came out the year, but it was like a gangster version of it.
That wasn't the Liam Neeson version?
It was not the Liam Neeson's version, nor was it the Russell Crowe Borat version. This was a different all-French version. And I remember it actually being really cool for what it's worth.
It's worth not much. What do you think? I'm going to go with The Iron Woman.
I think Iron Lady would have been the choice to win there, but if we're just picking the 5 who would have been nominated, certainly Lynn Ramsey would be in there. The Polish film, I think In Darkness, was nominated for Best Foreign Language Film, as it was called at the time, so I think that would be another good choice for Best Director. And then you've got Angelina Jolie, big name in The Land of Blood and Honey. I do remember a little buzz around that movie. And Dee Reese, I know Pariah was really well. I remember Roger Ebert, I think, had it in his top 10, and he spoke very, very highly of it. So if I were picking the 5, I'd have Ramsey, Lloyd, Holland, Jolie, and Reese, I think would be the 5 with Phyllida Lloyd coming out on top.
Interesting. I think that the Jolie movie now will only be seen, because I've never heard of it, and it will now only be seen because it has a similar name to a Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
That's right. Those are so dumb. I hate those.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Okay, so 2012, again, we had to pick 2 movies that were not Oscar eligible, and those were Lisa Azuelos' LOL and Amy Heckerling's Vamps. What were the other movies?
We had Lorene Scafaria directed a movie I believe that you like quite a bit called Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. I like that movie too. Ava DuVernay is directed a movie called Middle of Nowhere. Sally Potter's Ginger and Rosa. Tanya Wexler's Hysteria, Julia Locktev, who, do you remember when I sent you a screenshot a couple weeks ago of a 5.5-hour documentary that I had to watch for the Spirit Awards, directed by Julia Locktev? She is this woman. When I saw that name, I got excited. Julia Locktev at this time did a movie called The Loneliest Planet. There was Sarah Polley's Take This Waltz, and then a co-directing situation between Tom Tykwer and the Wachowskis. Did for Cloud Atlas, and then the big one from this year is Kathryn Bigelow with Zero Dark 30.
Yeah, so I've seen like 4 of these movies, and I mean, man, is this going to be boring where we just say like, yeah, the one that Gold Derby has is the right one? I mean, Zero Dark 30 would have run away with this thing.
Yeah, this would have been... I think some of the other ones are a little bit closer than this. But yeah, I mean, Kathryn Bigelow would have won this in a walk. I mean, she was widely predicted to get a nomination for this, which would have been her second. She would have been the first woman to be nominated twice, but that didn't happen. She and Ben Affleck were famously left off the list that year when they were both widely expected to be on there. So, I mean, she got really close to a nomination. So, yeah, there's no doubt that she would have won if that were the case.
But didn't Ben Affleck win Best Picture?
They did, yeah. Argo one ended up winning Best Picture without a Best Director nomination.
That, like, never happens.
Which, like, yeah, hadn't happened for... It could happen. It happens a little more often now. It's happened a couple times just because there's 10 Best Picture nominees and only 5 directors. Like Coda, which we'll talk about at one point, was another one the director didn't get nominated. But yeah, in 2012, it was, I think, was the first time since like 1928 or something. Like the second Oscars or something was like the last time it had happened.
Wow, crazy. So what do you think the 5 would be?
Are we doing co-directors as well, or?
I don't know. Cloud Atlas was such a bomb. I don't think it would have gotten nominated anyway.
Yeah, I think we can leave Cloud Atlas off there anyway. So I think, I mean, Bigelow, obviously. I think Sarah Polley, would have been a good...
It's kind of a nothing movie.
I didn't particularly care for it, but I know the reviews were pretty good. And I remembered, like, that's why I was disappointed, because it was, like, reviewed so well, and I thought I was going to like it. And then I was kind of bummed out by it.
Okay, well, it certainly wouldn't be Seeking a Friend for the End of the World or Vamps, which are the other 2 I've seen. They're fun, but they're not Oscar movies.
No, certainly not. I mean, I think Loneliest Planet, based off the play that I have seen, actually, I've seen that play. I think Julia Locktev would be a good choice for that. And I saw Hysteria, and I remember that actually being kind of good. That's just about how they used to, any time a woman back in, that Night Central was sad, it was, hysteria, we got to medicate her up. So I think that would have been a good choice. And then I don't know much about these other movies. Like, I don't know Ava DuVernay's Middle of Nowhere, based on name recognition over Sally Potter's Ginger and Rosa. I think our 5 would be Ava DuVernay, Tanya Wexler for Hysteria, Julia Locktev, Loneliest Planet, Sarah Polley, Take This Waltz, and then they're obviously, like I said, the runaway winner, Kathryn Bigelow.
Right on. All right, in 2013, we had to do 3 ineligible movies, and they were Sherry Horman's 3,096 Days, Claire Denis' Bastards, and Liz W. Garcia's The Lifeguard.
I was really hoping the Bastards would be eligible because I've seen a couple of Claire Denis films, and I really would have wanted to include her.
As far as we're concerned, she's included. Beyond that, eligible movies include Anne Fontaine's Adore, Maggie Carey's The To-Do List, Jennifer Lee and Chris Buck's Frozen, which I know you were hemming and hawing about whether or not to include. I think it's okay just because we have like no animated movies on these lists. Yeah. Kimberly Pierce's Carrie remake, Sophia Coppola's The Bling Ring, Haifa Al-Mansour's Wadija. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I have seen that movie. And Nicole Holofcener's Enough Said, which is the only ranked movie. In fact, the only movies I've seen on here are Wadija and Frozen.
Oh, you haven't seen Enough Said? Oh, Bradley, you would love.
I have seen Enough Said, and I've seen.
I was going to say, I thought you would have seen that. Yeah, you would. Yeah. You'd really like that. I thought.
Delightful film. Very safe to say. Enough Said, yes, would be in the mix. Wadija, if it were to come out today, maybe. I mean, it's a movie about a kid who fucks around on a bicycle.
I think it was the first female-directed film out of Saudi Arabia. That's why it was a big deal.
Right. It's a little light. It's a little thin. Not bad. The Bling Ring is a Sophia Coppola movie, so, and it had a lot of buzz in the year it came out. The Carrie remake is supposed to be really bad.
Yeah.
Frozen is very good, but not clear if we should count it. Let's count it.
For this year, I think we have to, just because the pickings are so slim, and Frozen is quite good.
So that's 4. And then I don't know these other movies, but I'm tempted to just say, like, let's throw Claire Denis' Bastards, even though it's not one of her highest regarded movies.
It's not. Yeah, I do. I've seen the To-Do List, and it's that movie where I think Aubrey Plaza, I think she gets a terminal disease or something, so she has all these sexual things that she wants to do, and so she just starts setting out on this, like to-do list, or all these guys that she wants to sleep with or whatever. It's something like that. It didn't make a huge impression on me, obviously, so if we want to throw Claire Denis in as the honorary 5th nominee, I think that's perfectly all right for this year.
Okay, let's do it. And then let's give our dearly departed James Gandolfini a little love for Enough Said, even though this is a women-focused episode.
Yeah. He was a contender for supporting actor that year. A lot of people thought it might happen. And if he would have, I think that would have been just. I mean, he was terrific in that movie.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, so I'll just go through because in 2014, half the list is not eligible.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, Anna Lily Amirpour's A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which I'm kind of surprised, but it's not an American film, so...
Yeah, I thought that one would be too. I double-checked that one, and I even looked at, 2015. It wasn't, the next year or something, and it just wasn't.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that. Marjane Satrapi, who did Persepolis, her movie The Voices, is on here. Misha Camp's Boys, Lynn Shelton's Laggies, Mumblecore movie, and then Lee Janiak's Honeymoon are not eligible. Which movies are eligible?
The ones we had eligible, directed by Emma Asante, the costume drama Belle. Another Coppola, Gia, directed a movie called Palo Alto. We had Step Up, All In, directed by Trish C. I'm pretty sure I've seen that. I've seen all the Step Ups at one time or another. Gillian Robespierre directed Obvious Child. And then the 2 that were actual contenders that year, you have Ava DuVernay for Selma, and then Angelina Jolie for Unbroken.
So I'm going to throw a twist in here. Even though Selma is such Oscar bait, clearly would have been the winner. Gillian Robespierre's Obvious Child is an excellent movie. And I do believe that if it were to come out today and get the right kind of buzz, it could do very, very well at the Oscars. It has kind of a Sorry Baby vibe to it, and Sorry Baby's getting, not a decent amount of buzz for its director.
Julia Roberts literally just told everyone who was watching the Golden Globes to watch it. I don't know if you saw that clip or whatever, but I think she gave out Best Picture, and she said, by the way, if you haven't seen Sorry Baby, you really should see Sorry Baby. She's like, Ava Victor, you're my hero. Totally. I mean, it was awesome.
That's very cool. It's a similar vibe. It's they're both about, Obvious Child is about abortion, and Sorry Baby is about sexual assault. And they're both very funny. So my pick would be for Obvious Child.
Yeah, I really like Obvious Child a lot, too. I certainly would include that in the 5 with Jolie and DuVernay for sure. But I also think Selma is terrific. It was a Best Picture nominee that year, too, and Ava was close to getting an Oscar nomination, or at least was in the discussion. I don't have any strong argument against Obvious Child. I really like that movie, too.
If we're going for looking at the 5, I think... So the only ones I've seen are Laggies is not one of Lynn Shelton's best. Gia Coppola is the lesser Coppola. I like The Last Showgirl, but Gia Coppola is not Sophia. So I think probably Step Up, All In for sure. Of the unrecognized ones, of the ineligible ones, I think A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night should be in the 5.
Yeah. Yep, I'd put that in there with those top three: Obvious Child, Unbroken, and Selma. And then Belle, which I told you was a good, which you didn't believe me at first, but yeah,
I thought you were
Belle.
talking about. I thought you were talking about the Hosada. I thought you were talking about the Hosada
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, no, different movie. It's a costume drama that is, I remember being pretty good. So those five would be a good collection.
Right on. All right, so let's move on to 2015. We have no ineligible movies for the first time. Jake, take us through the 10.
All right, we have Elizabeth Banks' sequel Pitch Perfect 2. Got a movie from Shira Piven called Welcome to Me. We have Leslie Headland's Sleeping with Other People, a movie my wife introduced me to after we got together. We have Denise Gamze Ergovin did a movie called Mustang. Saw it, really liked it. Catherine Hardwicke is back with Miss You Already. Reed Morano directed Meadowland. Nancy Meyers with The Intern. Mariel Heller with Diary of a Teenage Girl. Sarah Gavron, Suffragette. And Angelina Jolie by the Sea, which I was surprised to see that ranked in the Gold Derby rankings, because that movie, I guess, was like a disaster. But that was the top ranked, with that and Suffragette were the only two that made the Gold Derby list this year. And ranked at 28 and 38. So they were on the list, but they were nowhere close.
Yeah, it's pronounced suffragette with a
Suffragette, excuse me.
Suffragette, yeah.
It's one of my favorite 70s show jokes where Fez keeps talking about being a virgin. Remember, and Hyde tells me, no, Fez, that's pronounced virgin.
So I've seen a bunch of these. I really did not like Welcome to Me. It made me very uncomfortable. Kristen Wiig she somehow gets a talk show and she neuters a dog live on air.
Yeah.
Very upsetting movie about a disturbed person. Sleeping with Other People is one of my favorite comedies.
I really like that movie too. Yeah, like I said, my wife introduced it to me. I hadn't seen it, and I quite enjoy it. Yeah, I think it's quite good.
And Shira Piven is Jeremy Piven's sister.
That's reason enough to disqualify her.
Well, and also the movie is despicable. But, I gave it 3 stars. But we're talking about Welcome to Me again, not Sleeping with Other People. And you said you liked Mustang.
Yeah, it's about a horse. It's a horse movie, obviously, but it's beautiful. Yeah.
Diary of a Teenage Girl is good. Mariel Heller is a great director.
Yep.
And The Intern is solid second tier Nancy Meyers. I don't know. I don't know Suffragette or By the Sea. So my 5 would be Diary of the Teenage Girl, The Intern, Mustang, Sleeping with Other People, and Welcome to Me, because it's provocative.
Yeah, I'm not going to include By the Sea in mine. I will include Suffragette because I do remember that being better received, certainly than By the Sea. And, it's got Meryl Streep and Carey Mulligan and things. So there's some Oscar bona fides there. So I'd have Suffragette, Diary of a Teenage Girl, Intern, Mustang, and Sleeping with Other People. And if we're going to award one, honestly, I remember really liking Mustang, and that would probably be the one that I would give it to.
I've never seen Mustang, so I would give it to Diary of a Teenage Girl, which I think is an excellent movie. And I know you also like it a lot.
Yeah, I do like that movie quite a bit.
You got a lot of movies on the list for 2016. So
yeah, we start getting up there a little more in the later years, which is great.
So we've got Elizabeth Wood's White Girl, Mia Hansen Love's Things to Come, Susanna White's Our Kind of Traitor, Anna Biller's The Love Witch, which is like a fake Technicolor movie. It's not in Technicolor, but it was made to look like it. Yeah, of course she does. Liza Johnson's Elvis and Nixon, Kelly Freeman Craig's The Edge of 17, Kelly Reichardt's Certain Women, Sophia Takal's Always Shine, Jocelyn Morehouse's The Dressmaker, Rebecca Miller's Maggie's Plan, Mira Nair's Queen of Katwe, Andrea Arnold's American Honey, and Marin Aday's Tony Erdmann. I've seen The Edge of 17. I think that's the only one I've seen.
I've seen quite a few of these. Tony Erdmann was the best international film that year, and that had a lot of buzz on it. That's quite good. American Honey, I did not see. Queen of Katwe, I saw. That's a Disney sports drama. I haven't seen Maggie's Plan. Dressmaker, I saw. Was okay. Kelly Reichardt's Certain Women, I saw and really, really liked. It was the first movie I saw Lily Gladstone in, but those are the ones that I've seen. So if I were to make the category, Tony Erdmann would definitely be the winner. It's a great movie. For a while, I heard that someone was going to remake it, an English version, and it was going to get Jack Nicholson out of retirement because which obviously didn't happen, but he was attached to it. And I think Kristen Wiig, actually, speaking of Kristen Wiig, was attached to play the Tony Erdmann character about a younger woman reconnecting with her older father. But that didn't happen, but it's fine. Tony Erdmann is terrific. I think Mira Nair is her name recognition. She's a very famous director from India. I think her name recognition would get her in. So I think Queen of Katwe would be the second nominee. I don't remember much about Maggie's Plan, so I don't know if I can say Rebecca Miller would be in. Jocelyn Morehouse with The Dressmaker. The Dressmaker was on the Oscar list, I think, for maybe makeup or something like that. So I mean, it had at least some Oscar connection there. So I'll take that for my third one, and then I'm going to do Kelly Reichardt and Kelly Freeman Craig. Certain Women and Edge of 17, I think, would be a strong 5.
2017. We're halfway done.
Okay, well, 2017 is a good year for female directors because they actually did get a real nomination slot at the Oscars this year. It was Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird, and at the time, so we're into 2017. Greta Gerwig was only the 5th woman ever nominated for this, and it took that long. It took 90 years almost for to get to more than one hand that we had to use here. So I think she's obviously going to be one of the nominees. Patty Jenkins, Wonder Woman. We had Dee Reese back with Mudbound. Sophia Coppola's here again with The Beguiled. Kathryn Bigelow with Detroit. Angelina Jolie directed First They Killed My Father. We have the co-directed by Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Faris tennis film Battle of the Sexes. Margaret Betts, Novitiate. Angela Robinson's Professor Marston and the Wonder Women. Lucia Agnello did Rough Night. And then Nikki Caro, who directed Whale Rider, one of my favorite female-directed films from the 2000s that I wish I would have remembered when we recorded the 2000s episode. But Nikki Caro this year did The Zookeeper's Wife. What would you go first this time? What would your 5 be out of this?
So we didn't know anything about Greta Gerwig in Maggie's Plan for the previous year. I think, it's a no-brainer that Lady Bird would win this thing. Wonder Woman is interesting because it was a huge deal when it came out, and it has aged poorly, both in its reputation, in the DCU in general's reputation as a whole. That has been not memory hold. I mean, it's got a whole group of incels who stump for it on Twitter, but in terms of cinematic relevance, nobody cares about Wonder Woman anymore. The sequel was so bad, and that whole franchise led to nothing. So I'd say, realistically, Wonder Woman, if we were doing this, would get nominated, but I'm going to say no. I saw it 3 times in theaters.
Yeah, I think at the time, it certainly would have, but not now.
Yeah. I personally think Mudbound is super boring, but it was very well received. The Beguiled I haven't seen, but it's a Sophia Coppola movie. I'm one of the few people who thinks Detroit is great, so that would make my 5. That would be my number 2. Battle of the Sexes, I think, is okay. I like Dayton and Ferris. This is not as good as Little Miss Sunshine. It's fine. It's Steve Carell's in it, so how bad could it be? Zookeeper's Wife is a very strange, very, very strange movie. So okay, fine. I will relent and go Lady Bird, Wonder Woman, Mudbound, Detroit, Battle of the Sexes. That'll be my 5, with Lady Bird winning because of course.
Of course, yeah. Lady Bird's wonderful. It would be almost the same. I'd have Lady Bird, Wonder Woman, Mudbound, which I like more, and did have 4 other Oscar nominations. So again, that one's certainly not a stretch. I would also have Detroit. I think I would have Sophia for The Beguiled. When we did the Sophia Coppola ranking one, that was the Sophia Coppola movie that surprised me the most with how much I liked it. I think in no small part due to how much I've grown to love Colin Farrell and how just awesome he is in that movie. But Beguiled is one, and like I said, if you ever watched another Sophia Coppola movie, I really do think you'd like it. Not that you need to rush out and do it, but if you ever get the urge to watch a Sophia Coppola movie, I think you'd like it. I mean, like I said, it's Colin Farrell and young Elle Fanning, who I've really grown to love Elle Fanning this year after Predator and Sentimental Value, and Nicole Kidman. It's really cool.
For 2018, let's see, we have Ava DuVernay's A Wrinkle in Time, Elizabeth Chomko's What They Had, Tamara Jenkins' Private Life, Desiree Akhavan's The Miseducation of Cameron Post, Nadine Ledeki's Capernaum, Karen Kusama's Destroyer, Mimi Letters on the Basis of Sex, Chloe Zhao's The Rider, Josie Rourke's Mary Queen of Scots, Suzanne Beers' Bird Box, Lynn Ramsey's You Were Never Really Here, Mariel Heller's Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Deborah Granick's Leave No Trace. So I've only seen 4 of these movies. So what are your 5 and your winner?
Well, I think it's interesting to point out, too, that by the time the numbers have been going up a little bit, but if we're still working with the Gold Derby list, there were 12 of these movies that appeared on the list ranked between 12 and 51. So a lot of them, didn't have a shot, but just that more females directors are showing up on this list, I think is a good thing. If I were picking my 5, I think Deborah Granick for Leave No Trace is a no-brainer. I know you love that movie too. It's really great. And Granick had been in Oscars orbit before because Winter's Bone had a Best Picture nomination and a Best Actress and Supporting Actor. So I think that's an easy pick. Mariel Heller, Can You Ever Forgive Me? Of course, that movie was very well received. Had nominations as it was for Best Actress, Supporting Actor, and I want to say Adapted Screenplay as well. So I think she's a slam dunk for a nominee. Lynn Ramsey, I think for You're Never Really Here. I like that movie. I feel like I haven't made that quite clear. I do really like that movie, and I think it's really well directed. So I do think that she would be the 3rd. I think for the 4th, I really remember liking Capernaum, and then Tamara Jenkins' Private Life I liked as well. So I think it'd be Private Life, Capernaum, You Were Never Really Here, Can You Ever Forgive Me and Leave No Trace. I would really like to see The Rider. It's similar to Mustang, I guess. And for a while I thought I had seen The Rider, but I haven't. But, maybe with Hamnet coming out now, maybe it'd be a good time for me to go back and watch The Rider. But I do recall the reviews for that being quite good.
I'm with you for the top three. I love all three of those movies. Leave No Trace, Can You Ever Forgive Me, You Were Never Really Here. They're like three of my favorite movies.
Yeah, they're great.
And they're all directed by women, and they all came out in the same year. Incredible trio of movies. I haven't seen Bird Box. I heard it sucks.
Yeah, I've heard it's not great.
I've heard Mary Queen of Scots is not great.
It's okay.
I've heard The Rider is great, so that would be my fourth. The only other movie on here that I've seen is On the Basis of Sex, which I think is a big pile of nothing. It's like just a real dull, empty biopic of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. A personality I'm very interested in, and I just thought that movie did her no justice. Also, it's got Armie Hammer. So I'm going to take your word for it and go Capernaum, The Rider, Leave No Trace, Can You Ever Forgive Me, and You Were Never Really Here. It's really hard for me to decide between those top three. I mean, Leave No Trace just does not feel like an Oscar-y kind of movie, quite frankly. I'm surprised it was ranked so high. You Were Never Really Here is just like a little rough and has really upsetting, even though it's like technically a happy ending, the way they execute it is incredibly upsetting. So I'm going to go with Can You Ever Forgive Me as the winner here.
That would be mine too. And I think that's probably the most likely Oscar choice, like I said, just with the other nominations it received and everything. Yeah.
Trigger warning though, Dead Cat. My wife won't watch the movie. All right, 2019, lay 'em on us.
All right, 2019, we had Lynn Shelton's Sword of Trust, Celine Sciamma's Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Jennifer Lee and Chris Buck returned with Frozen 2, Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck and Captain Marvel. One of my favorite movies from that year, Gurinder Chadha had Blinded by the Light. Alma Har'el directed Honey Boy. Boy, this is a tough one to pronounce too. Shinanye Chukwu?
No idea.
No idea, sorry. Directed Clemency, which we'll cover in detail when we get to that decade. Casey Lemon's Harriet. Lorene Scafaria did Hustlers. Melina Matsoukas with Queen and Slim. Olivia Wilde's Booksmart. Mariel Heller is back with A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Lulu Wang's The Farewell, movie I love. And then Greta Gerwig is again back with Little Women.
So I've seen all but three of these. So this is my most, I can actually talk about this category this time. This is hard. I like a lot of these movies.
Mm-hmm.
Sword of Trust I like but don't love. Portrait of a Lady on Fire I adore. Frozen 2 and Captain Marvel are the Disney movies that I think are just much less good than the other movies in the series that they are a part of. Blinded by the Light I thought was fine, but I didn't like it as much as you. Honey Boy I saw in the theater and thought was pretty good. It's a sort of biopic of Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Hustlers. Oh, actually, I haven't seen Hustlers. I thought I did.
Oh, bummer. Hustlers is cool.
I've heard. Queen and Slim I've also really wanted to see but haven't seen. Haven't seen Harriet, haven't seen Clemency. Booksmart, really fun movie and the kind of comedy that doesn't get wide release anymore. We all thought Olivia Wilde would be like a really big deal as a director because of it and just didn't pan out. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood I was super disappointed in after loving the documentary about Mr. Rogers. Thought Tom Hanks was fine and was like such an obvious, like it had to be him cast in that role. And then I just didn't like the story, and I like, what's his name? Matthew Rhys. I like him a lot, but I did not want the movie about Mr. Rogers to be about some angry journalist who's interviewing Mr. Rogers. The Farewell, I think, is incredible, and I'm frustrated all the time that Awkwafina doesn't keep making movies like this.
I know.
It's a Lulu Wang. It's like an autobiography. And then Little Women is also great. And it wasn't surprising when Greta Gerwig just became this like juggernaut at the Oscars because these were her first two solo movies. She had co-directed some mumblecore crap with one of the Duplases, I think, before this.
Yeah.
But this was great. So my five would be Little Women, The Farewell, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I'm going to go Booksmart. I'll go Honey Boy. Those would be my five. And I would give it to, I know that Little Women would win, but I would give it to The Farewell. I think that movie is outstanding.
We have a lot in common here. My five would be Little Women, The Farewell. I would also choose Booksmart. I think it's really just a terrific comedy. I would have Clemency. I'm really excited for you to watch that. I think that's very good. And then Celine Sciamma, Portrait of a Lady on Fire as well. And I think that list would pretty well carry over to the Oscars. Like maybe Hustlers would have gotten in, instead of like Booksmart, I could say, or Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which I liked more than you, but it's still not as good as I wanted it to be, I guess. And certainly not as good as Heller's prior movie. I certainly could have seen that one getting in the actual Oscar category, but yeah. And then I would also, I might give it to Celine Sciamma over Lulu Wang, just for the sake of being.
That'd be totally fair. I mean, that movie's amazing.
So that we can spread the love. But yeah, both of those were great, and Greta Gerwig too. I mean, if someone said Greta Gerwig for Little Women, I'd say okay. No argument there.
given that this is our, alternate universe Oscars, we just gave it to Greta Gerwig last year. So,
That's
or
true,
2 years
yeah.
ago, whatever. So, I think we spread the wealth. Lulu Wang would be for me. I mean, technically, I do have Portrait of a Lady on Fire ranked higher on Letterboxd than I do The Farewell, but I've only seen The Farewell once. So I think I just got it on Blu-ray. So I'm going to pop that in soon. This movie is so good. I will say for Hustlers, people did think that Jennifer Lopez was going to get nominated and she just didn't. So
Yeah, she very much should have. I don't understand what happened there.
all right, 2020, we've got a huge amount of, 18 movies directed by women that were not only eligible, but ranked by Gold Derby. We've got, here we go. How am I going to say this? Gabriella Copperthwaite's Our Friend, Robin Wright's Land. Oh, Robin Wright making a movie. Tara Miele's Wander Darkly, Marjane Satrapi of Persepolis fame's Radioactive, Julie Taymor of Frida fame, The Glorias, Channing Godfrey Peoples' Miss Juneteenth, Julia Hart's I'm Your Woman, Josephine Decker's Shirley, Rada Blank's The 40-Year-Old Version, which is on my black and white and red all over Netflix movies that are in black and white list, which I love. Miranda July's Kajillionaire, Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 84, Nikki Caro's Mulan live action remake, Eliza Hittman's Never Rarely, Sometimes Always, Sophia Coppola's On the Rocks, Kelly Reichardt's First Cow, Regina King's One Night in Miami, Emerald Fennell's Promising Young Woman, and Chloe Zhao's Nomadland, which won Best Director and Best Picture.
And she was ranked number one. That's the first woman to hit number one on the Gold Derby ranks.
Right. And they were correct in that prediction. This was a weird year, obviously, because it was the COVID year. Boy. Well, you go first, because I've only seen a few of these.
Okay. I've actually seen almost all of these except for the ones closer to the end of the list, but there's some really good stuff in here. You mentioned the 40-year-old version, from your black and white and red all over list, and that's a terrific movie that I think more people should see. Rada Blank is also the star of it. She's really wonderful. Kajillionaire is very cool. It's got Evan Rachel Wood. I think that Shirley's got an excellent performance from Elizabeth Moss. Miss Juneteenth is wonderful. The Glorias is okay. That's Julie Taymor. We talked about Frida a couple weeks ago. That's Julie Taymor's latest movie. Pretty good. It's also got Julianne Moore. So there's some good stuff in here. I also liked the Mulan remake. Thought it was pretty solid. But for what would actually be the five, this was pretty good. There was a chance of Oscar actually nominating three women because Chloe Zhao was ranked 1, Emerald Fennell was number 4, and Regina King was number 6. So they were all really close. Zhao and Fennell actually did both get nominated, and so it was the first year that there were ever 2 women nominated in the category. Regina King ended up just missing out, but I think those would be the obvious first 3. Kelly Reichardt, First Cow, didn't end up getting nominated for anything, but I feel like it was like a fringe contender on like a couple of little categories, like, it might break in here or there. So kind of wish it had in at least one thing because I really like First Cow a lot. That's probably my favorite Kelly Reichardt movie. So
have you seen Mastermind yet?
No, we haven't yet, but we're going to.
Mastermind is so good.
Yeah. I've got movies, so we're going to watch it. It's just been a lot of Spirit and Oscar and Never Did It stuff. But, On the Rocks, I know we've talked about on the podcast, not one of my favorites, so I'm going to go with the Never Rarely, Sometimes Always director Eliza Hittman. I think that movie is actually really, really great, and it's directed really, really well, and I almost probably would have voted for her to get an actual nomination that year. For the winner for me, actually, I know I love Nomadland. I think Chloe Zhao's did an incredible job, but Promising Young Woman was just such a treat of a movie, and I smiled through so much of it, even though it's like kind of not always smile. It's just hard to explain, but there's just a vibe in that movie that I think is really special, and especially just at the time it came out, it was just, I guess it was just like something I needed to see at the time, and I love Carey Mulligan's performance in it and everything, so I would go Emerald Fennell in this case. Sorry, Chloe, you're great, but
I've seen 6 of these movies. I've seen Wonder Woman 84, which is terrible, On the Rocks, which I also don't think is good. I've seen First Cow, which is my least favorite Kelly Reichardt movie, but I know it has such a great reputation. It didn't connect with me at all. Might be because it was the first Kelly Reichardt movie I saw, and I didn't understand her vibe yet. But I'm just, even then, I haven't had any desire to go back. One Night in Miami, I liked all right. Promising Young Woman, I loved, and Nomadland, I loved. So my 5 would be Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, One Night in Miami. First Cow is just obvious. I'm doing it because I just feel like, yes, it would be nominated for sure. On the Rocks is rated crazy high here. Like, I can't believe that this Apple movie that's bad, just because Sophia Coppola directed it, is up here. It's just not good. So I'd go Never Rarely, Sometimes Always as my 5th. You said exactly what I would have said. I love Nomadland, but I think Promising Young Woman is like bonkers, and Emerald Fennell has this weird reputation. Like, people hate her, and I don't know if that's real or if it's just like crazy communist Twitter and Blue Sky being like, well, she's rich, nepo, whatever,
Yeah.
billionaire girl making movies about XYZ. I'm like, whatever. I think Promising Young Woman fucking rocks, and I would also give it the Oscar. Give us 2021.
All right, 2021, the numbers go down a little bit, but there's still a respectable showing. There were 13 women who made the list, the Gold Derby list. We had Tatiana Huezo's Prayers for the Stolen, which was eligible for the International Film that year. Did not get nominated, but it's pretty good. Nora Fingscheit, a movie called The Unforgivable. Ava Hussan did Mothering Sunday. Emma Seligman with Shiva Baby. Justine Bateman, I did not know this, directed a movie called Violet that year. I'm not familiar with that movie. Liesl Tommy directed Respect, the Aretha Franklin biopic. Chloe Zhao's back with Eternals. Halle Berry's directorial debut, Bruised. Rebecca Hall's directorial debut, Passing. Sean Heder did that year's Best Picture winner, Coda. Maggie Gyllenhaal's that's right, yeah, The Lost Daughter. Julia Ducournau, Titan. And Jane Campion, Power of the Dog, who became the second consecutive #1 rank on Gold Derby, and she did go on to win the Oscar, was the only female nominated that year.
I have seen 3 of these movies. I have seen Power of the Dog. We're going to talk about Jane Campion. We talked about her in our 90s episode, obviously. I have not seen Titan, and I never will because it sounds gross.
Oh, it's so brutal.
I've also, so the other 2 that I've seen are Eternals and Shiva Baby. Eternals is a very flawed movie that looks pretty great until it doesn't. And then Shiva Baby, I'm just going to spoiler for 3 seconds from now. Shiva Baby would be my winner. Power of the Dog is a runner-up. My 5 would be Shiva Baby, Power of the Dog, The Lost Daughter, Coda. Oh, yeah, Passing. That makes sense to me. Those would be my 5. And then Shiva Baby is just like, I think, really underseen. It actually does feel like a movie that would do well at the Oscars if enough people got behind it. It's a horror movie that has no violence. It truly is the reason Rachel Sennett is everywhere, and with good reason. It's the best thing she's ever done, though not to say that the things she's done since then are bad. In fact, her second movie with Emma Seligman, Bottoms, is quite funny, and I'm sure it'll show up later in this list. And also in that movie, Molly Gordon is also very, very good. She was also in Booksmart. I mean, Molly Gordon's great and deserves more praise in general. Also Smoke Show. Yeah, I love Shiva Baby so much, and I don't know. I just think it's one of the best movies of the last decade.
Well, if I'm doing a 5, definitely Power of the Dog. Lost Daughter is very good. Olivia Colman is terrific in that. Jessie Buckley is in that as well. So, I mean, obviously very well acted. Coda, I really like. We'll talk about it, of course. I think would be an easy Oscar nom because it was the Best Picture winner. So, again, an easy line to draw to the Oscar there. And then after those 3, boy, there's 2 spots for 3 movies that I think are all very different, but I also really like. I mean, Shiva Baby I liked for all the reasons that you listed. I think it's really terrific, funny and scary and all of that. But then I also really liked Passing, Rebecca Hall's movie with Tessa Thompson and Ruth Negga, where then I thought, was really good. Rebecca Hall did a terrific job with that. And then Titan, which is brutal and horrifying, and I will never watch it again. But there's a visual style and a flair to it that's, very intoxicating in a weird sort of way. Like I was able to keep watching the movie, even though I was, so thoroughly disgusted by so much of it. I mean, it's a big swing. And, and it was recognized at Cannes that year. So I could have seen it maybe getting into that, that 5th slot. They've been kind of giving that to an international director, the regular category. There's been an international director getting in most years. So I could have seen maybe Oscar going that way over, Shiva Baby, maybe, which, might have just been too slight for Oscar, or who knows. But I mean, I think obviously Power of the Dog, Lost Daughter, and Coda would have been easy choices to make it in. Winner for me is Power of the Dog. I really like Power of the Dog quite a bit.
2022, we've gone back up a little bit. We've got 16 movies made the list. We got Alice Diop's Saint Omer, Antonetta Alamat Kusajanovich's Marina, Joanna Hogg's The Eternal Daughter, Mia Hansen-Love's One Fine Morning, Nikyatu Jusu's Nanny, Lena Dunham's Catherine Called Birdie, Lena Neubauer's Causeway, Laura de Clermont-Tonnerre's Lady Chatterley's Lover, Olivia Wilde's Don't Worry Darling, whoopsie, Sally L. Hosseini's The Swimmers, Maria Schrader's She Said, Casey Lemon's I Want to Dance with Somebody. Oh, here we go, this one again. Chinyonye Chukwu's Till, Charlotte Wells' After Sun, Gina Prince Bythewood's The Woman King, and Sarah Polley's Women Talking. I've seen 1, 2, 3 of these movies. They happen to be the top 3 ranked movies. So my 5 would be Women Talking, The Woman King, After Sun, which I am in the vast minority of not really liking. I'll talk about that in a second. And then I'd probably go with, I already made a joke about the bad movie getting in, so I won't say anything about Don't Worry Darling. I'd go with Saint Omer because I've heard of it.
It's excellent too. It's a really great courtroom drama.
Great. And then Till. because I've heard of it. And I would give it to Women Talking, which is another one of my favorite movies of the last decade. And I think Sarah Polley can really do no wrong. She's so great.
Yeah, my 5 would be pretty similar to that. I would have Sarah Polley, Gina Prince Bythewood, Woman King, Charlotte Wells for After Sun. I do really love After Sun. Till I would have in that category as well. And then there's a couple of really good choices for the 5th spot. I liked She Said, Maria Schrader's film. I liked that a lot. Carey Mulligan's very good in that. Zoe Kazan is in that. I liked Leela Neusbauer did Causeway. That's got Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree Henry. And Brian Tyree Henry was nominated that year. And I really liked the movie. That's a movie that like you watch and I watched, I was like, okay, yeah, that was good, and then like, but you don't think about it again until the next day. And then you think about it for like the next 5 days once you start. It's really quite good. And then I really liked Marina, was a very bizarre movie. And St. Omer, like I said, is also very good. I'd probably go Causeway for my 5th. So Causeway, Till, After Sun, Woman King, and Women Talking. Just to be different, I'm going to give it to After Sun. I really love that movie. I think Charlotte Wells did a magnificent job with that. But I mean, yeah, Women Talking is just so great. Sarah Polley's wonderful. Yeah, she's everything she does. I'm on board.
And that was nominated for Best Picture, no?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to start making us go through this just like a little quicker because we're coming up on time. We don't have a hard out, but like we want to cut you guys a break. So this is our biggest year, 2023. We have 21 directed by women, and it was headlined by like the movie about what it's like to be a woman in Hollywood, basically. So we've got Nicole Holofcener's You Hurt My Feelings, A.V. Rockwell's 1001, Molly Gordon and Nick Lieberman's Theater Camp. I love that movie. Kelly Reichardt's Showing Up, Rebecca Miller's She Came to Me, Jimmy Chin and Elizabeth Chai Vasarhelyi's Naiad, Adele Lim's Joyride, Eva Longoria's Flamin' Hot, Chloe DeMont's Fair Play, Maggie Betts' The Burial, Kristen Gore and Damian Kulash's The Beanie Bubble, Kitty Green's The Royal Hotel, Georgia Oakley's Blue Jean, Alice Rohrwacher's La Chimera, Mariam Kashavar's The Persian Version, Ava DuVernay's Origin, Sophia Coppola's Priscilla, Emerald Fennell's Saltburn, Celine Song's Past Lives, Justin Triet's Anatomy of a Fall, and Greta Gerwig's Barbie. I've seen 8 of these. My 5 would be Barbie, Anatomy of a Fall, Past Lives. I'm throwing in Theater Camp. No, I'm not. I have to be serious. It wouldn't have gotten in. I love Theater Camp, but it would not have gotten in.
Theater Camp's pretty funny, yeah.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's a Hulu exclusive movie, so it also doesn't have a physical release, which I just find maddening. And then I'd go with, Sophia Coppola's Priscilla. That got a lot of heat. And then I haven't seen it, but I'm dying to see it. So I'm throwing in there as my 5th. Alice Rohrwacher's La Chimera.
Same. Why have we not seen that?
I don't know. We're dumb.
Yeah.
I'm also just like so falling in love with what's his name. So
who's not?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. And I'm going to go with, Barbie's the easy answer because people see it as like, it got so paired with Oppenheimer, which won Best Picture, but truly the best woman-directed movie of this year is Anatomy of a Fall, and that's what I would give it to.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of great choices here. I mean, again, we had 4 women ranked in the top 10, which is very, very cool. I would have also had Greta Gerwig, Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, Celine Song for Past Lives. Would certainly be my top 3. Go with me on that. I mean, I did like Priscilla. One of my higher ranked Sophia Coppola movies. Origin is actually really, really cool. And I think you would particularly like that movie. So I think I'm going to make Origin my 4th choice. And then my 5th one is tough because I really love You Hurt My Feelings. And I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus's performance in that so much. But I'm actually going to go with A.V. Rockwell, 1001, which is a movie I saw. It was nominated for Spirit Awards. It was the first year I was a voter for the Spirit Awards. And I remember that was nominated for one. And it was the first thing I saw Teyana Taylor in. She's the lead in that movie. And she is fantastic in that movie. I mean, just you could tell right away. I mean, I'm not saying, anything that I was ahead of anything on that one because, like I said, anybody who saw that movie said the same thing. It's really good. So I would go with A.V. Rockwell for my 5th choice. And then my winner also, Anatomy of a Fall, was one of the best movies of the year. But I would make a strong case for Celine Song as well. I love Past Lives.
I hope your wife doesn't kill us because neither of us said Barbie would win.
It's okay. I think she'd probably go Anatomy of a Fall also.
Okay, good. In 2024, we got a lot of Julia Louis-Dreyfus stuff coming up.
Yeah.
We've got Dana I do not know how to pronounce this person's name. Dina Oniunas Pusik's Tuesday, Marielle Heller's Night Bitch, Sam Taylor Johnson's Back to Black, Minal Baig's We Grown Now, Rachel Morrison's The Fire Inside, Erica Tremblay's Fancy Dance, Andrea Arnold's Bird. Bird and Tuesday are different movies.
Yes.
You wouldn't know it.
2 people listening who have seen Tuesday. You get that.
Tuesday's not bad.
I like it. I like Tuesday quite a bit. I just don't think a lot of people saw it.
For sure. Gia Coppola's The Last Showgirl. Nora Fingscheit. Did we go over this already?
Yeah, she was on earlier. Yeah.
The Outrun. Annie Baker's Janet Planet. A lot of slow cinema on this list.
Yeah. I did not like Janet Planet, but I'm in the minority on that one.
It's a toughie. I mean, I also thought it was like kind of boring.
Wow.
Helena Ryan. How do you pronounce her name? Helena Ryjan?
I think it might just be Rain.
Helena Rain's Baby Girl. Megan Park's My Old Ass. Alessandra Lacoraza Samudio's In the Summer. Rose Glass's Love Lies Bleeding. Anna Kendrick's Woman of the Hour. Payal Kapadia's All We Imagine Is Light. And Coralie Farget's The Substance.
Where was Bottoms? How did Bottoms not make it onto our list? Like,
I don't know. So Bottoms.
Yeah. Whatever year that was. That might have been 2023.
Yeah, 2023.
That was 2023.
Whoops, we missed it.
Oops.
We're saying it now. Emma Seligman's Bottoms belongs on 2023 list. Of these, I've seen Tuesday, The Last Showgirl, Janet Planet, Baby Girl, My Old Ass, and Love Lies Bleeding. I would absolutely put Love Lies Bleeding and My Old Ass on the list. Love them both. Think they deserve to be in the 5. People really liked Woman of the Hour. I haven't seen it. The Netflix of it all makes me not want to put it in. I've heard mostly good things about All We Imagine Is Light. I'll throw that in there. The Substance was a big phenomenon. I'll throw that in there too. So that's 4.
We should mention Coralie Fargie did get nominated.
Yeah. So that's 4. The Substance, All We Imagine Is Light, Love Lies Bleeding, and My Old Ass. And then I'll take the easy way out and say Helena Rain's Baby Girl because, what's her name? Nicole Kidman was also getting a lot of marks for Baby Girl. And I like that movie. I saw that in the theater.
I don't know what it is about the movie, but it's aging poorly with me.
It's funny you say that. That was happening to me in the months after I saw it. And now I'm like, no, I remember that pretty fondly. And I think Banderas and Kidman are both really, really good in it.
Yeah.
But I would give my win to Love Lies Bleeding. I think Rose Glass's Love Lies Bleeding is just like a bonkers, amazing modern noir and just deserved way more love than it got. There's one like crazy violent moment in it that's like up there with like Cronenberg stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I love Love Lies Bleeding. That's my winner.
My 5. I would also include Coralie Fargie in mine. I also don't love The Substance, but like I said earlier about one of the other movies, it's a big swing and it's a wild movie, and I think it's really neat that the Academy went out, like nominated something that's so outside of what they normally do. I wish it had been better, but I in some ways understand the love for it. All We Imagine Is Light is very good. I really like that movie quite a bit. So those are 2. I also really like Love Lies Bleeding with Rose Glass, so that would be my 3rd. Also really loved My Old Ass by Megan Park. That's going to be 4. A couple of good choices for 5. I really like The Outrun. Saoirse Ronan is just terrific in that. But I think my number 5 is going to go to a movie that seems like a pretty average sports movie on the outside, but Rachel Morrison's The Fire Inside has just 2 great performances in it. Ryan Tyree Henry and Ryan Destiny, and that would be my number 5. And then if I were choosing winner, Payal Kapadia with All We Imagine Is Light is just a really beautiful movie, and it's gorgeous just in the construction and everything about it is really wonderful. So that would be my winner.
And then for this year, 2025, we only have 15 eligible movies and then 1 ineligible movie. I added Sophie Brooks's Oh Hi. We had Mona Fastfold's The Testament of Anne Lee, Beth Davids's Don't Let Go to the Dogs Tonight.
That's correct. Like, I hate saying it out loud. I hate typing it. Like, it drives me crazy. But I've heard it's a good movie.
Rebecca Zlotowski's A Private Life, Scarlett Johansson's Eleanor the Great, Kelly Reichardt's The Mastermind, Mary Bronstein's If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Nia DaCosta's Hedda, Kristen Stewart's The Chronology of Water, Celine Song's Materialists, Kathryn Bigelow's A House of Dynamite, Lynn Ramsey's Die My Love, Hikari's Rental Family, Eva Victor's Sorry Baby, I do not know how to say this. I'm going to say Kauthar Ben-Hanya's The Voice of Hind Rajab, and Chloe Zhao's Hamnet. I have seen Oh Hi, The Testament of Anne Lee, Eleanor the Great, The Mastermind, House of Dynamite, Die My Love, and Sorry Baby. My 5 are Hamnet, Sorry Baby, Testament of Anne Lee, Die My Love. Man, I hated House of Dynamite. I thought Eleanor the Great had some issues. I thought it was fun, but I thought it had some issues. And If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, because we're recording this 2 days after the Golden Globes, and Rose Byrne's acceptance speech is in my head. So those are my 5. And Hamnet seems like it would be the obvious winner here. Die My Love would be the swing, but it's just so unpleasant.
Yeah.
My favorite of all these has been Sorry Baby. I'm going to give the win to Sorry Baby. I just think it's more... No, the win goes to Hamnet because I'm not dumb.
Yeah. I haven't seen Hamnet yet. It's finally coming to our area this weekend. Well, by the time this comes out, I will have definitely seen it. But at the time of this recording, I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, that's, I think, an obvious choice there and a winner. I also haven't seen Sorry Baby.
It's mostly very funny. And the tagline is something very bad happens to whatever her name is, the main character. And then the movie is about how she deals with it. The something bad that happens to her, the way that they portray it, it doesn't happen on screen. And I think the way they portray it is so artfully and interestingly done. And it's fast. It's not a hard watch.
Cool.
I thought this movie was just excellent.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, we're going to watch it either way. Like I said, I have to soon, so I can vote for it. Maybe vote for it if I like it the most. But anyway, yeah, so I haven't seen Hamnet yet. I haven't seen Sorry Baby. Henry Job has not been very widely seen yet, and I haven't seen The Mastermind, though I really want to. So if I'm like picking the five, I'd say Hamnet, of course. Sorry Baby would have, I think, has a good shot just based on its reputation, how it's gone. Also, Die My Love, has a couple other is on a couple of the shortlists. I know Jennifer Lawrence is a contender there. Hedda is fantastic. That's a movie that I've liked more I've thought about it. So Nia DaCosta for that one. Mary Bronstein, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. That movie is just as stressful as Marty Supreme, but even almost in a more like exhausting, agonizing way. It's really, really good. I liked it a lot. Eleanor the Great was okay especially for a first effort. Scarlett Johansson's first film. June Squibb, of course, is good in it. But Testament of Anne Lee would be one of my choices too. That movie, again, the more I think about that, the more I like it. So I'd have Testament of Anne Lee. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Hedda, Sorry Baby, Hamnet. Yeah, and I think Hamnet's the obvious winner, but of the ones I've seen right now, I would have probably gone with Mary Bronstein.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go through these stats that you put together real quick.
I hope they're accurate. I did the best I could.
Well, lay them on us.
All right. Well, so there have been total still. There have been 10 women, or 10 times that a woman has been nominated for Best Director. We covered most of these, but just real quick. 1976, the first one, Lena Wertmuller with Seven Beauties. Jane Campion in 93 with The Piano. 2003, Sophia Coppola, Lost in Translation. Kathryn Bigelow, 2009 with The Hurt Locker. That was the first win. Greta Gerwig in 2017 with Lady Bird. Chloe Zhao, who won in 2020, along with Emerald Fennell, who were nominated that year. Jane Campion was back in 2021 to win for Power of the Dog. 2023, Justine Triet, Anatomy of a Fall, and then 2024, Coralie Farge with The Substance. This year, Chloe Zhao is going to make the list, and I think that's it. So she's going to be another two-time, and we're finally going to have more than 10.
Have you seen Seven Beauties?
I have not, no.
I have.
Have you?
Yeah, and after we're done with this season of Never Did It, I will have seen all of these movies.
That's awesome.
Seven Beauties is
The Substance. You're not watching The Substance.
Oh, except The Substance, yeah.
Yeah.
Seven Beauties is a Holocaust movie that is not about Jews. It's a crazy, crazy movie. I had originally thought, I'm going to watch all of Lena Wertmuller's movies. Something we haven't said throughout all of this season is that you and I think like 2 years ago, were like, wow, there are not that many prolific women directors, which is not true. We just didn't know.
Right.
And Lena Wertmuller, I found, was quite prolific. So I went to watch all her movies. I watched her first. It's hard to watch. I can't. Also, it's wild. What a pioneer to be nominated 20 years before the next one. And then Jane Campion, 10, 15 years before the next one after that?
Yeah, 10 years before Sophia, and then another 6 and 8. And it's just like, yeah, they just couldn't. I don't know what the deal was or why they refused. I mean, as we found, there weren't a ton, but there were certainly some that, with the right push or the right marketing, certainly could have performed better than they did.
It wasn't an Oscar problem. It was an industry problem where they weren't letting them make the movies. It wasn't
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah. The movies just weren't getting made. Continue with your stats, please.
All right. And like I said, hopefully these numbers are correct. I didn't get a chance to double check all of them, but of the 257 different directors that have been nominated for the Best Director Award, 3.11% of them have been women. So there have only been 8 total different women. Of the 76 winners, again, over time, they're less than 4%, so 3.95%. There have only been 3 women that have won. Now, as far as nominations, over the years, there have been 486 nominations. This includes, every year.
Why is it a 6? How can it end in 6?
Oh, because some years there were different. Like in the early years, there were different numbers.
Oh, you'd think it would be a 5 or a 0.
You'd think, yeah, if you had done, but I think in the first year they had 2 directing categories. I think there was 3 in each of those, and then I know another year there was, I think this, and then the second year there's no official nominees, so the list is I think 7 or 8 long.
Oh, very cool. I hate it.
Yeah, I know, me too. The early years are a mess, and I'm actually reading a book about that right now, as I showed you the other night. I'm finding out just what, because like when the Academy was formed, just briefly, it was literally not about like awards at all. That was like so far down the list of like things the Academy was formed for. It was, like those first couple years were not terribly important. And then as far as wins overall, like I said, that first year there were 2 directors who won, so there have been 99 wins, and 3 of them have been women, so that's good for just over 3% of the overall winners. Pretty damning numbers there.
And we'll be back next week with the season finale of Never Did It Season 3 Ladies Wow, looking at the women-directed movies of the 2020s.